Tuesday afternoon, and on a day like today, the Harbour side in Bristol is just the best place to be, isn't it? But what is less attractive is the huge amounts of rubbish that ends up in the water. That's why a new 12-seater boat made almost entirely out of reused plastic has been taken to the waters in Bristol today. It's called the Polly Roger. And its passengers are litter pickers who remove any plastic or other rubbish that ends up in the harbour side. Our reporter James Hanson has been on board.
Well, I'm currently sitting aboard a brand new vessel to the Bristol Harbour side. She is called the Polly Roger. She is made out of 99% reusable plastic. And we're sitting aboard with litter pickers picking plastic out of the Bristol Harbour. It's all part of a project by the charity Hubbub, and Rhiannon from Hubbub is here. Hello.
Hi.
So tell us about the Polly Roger.
Yeah, so it's a punt. It's made out of 99% recycled plastic, and we use it to take people on plastic fishing trips to kind of educate people about marine pollution and kind of make it a part of their, sort of connect them to marine pollution in that it's part of their everyday life.
Well, we've all got our litter pickers this morning, and inside this big bucket in the middle of the punt, we've already picked up, and we've literally been on the water for about 5 minutes. There's a co-op bag here that someone had dropped in the harbour. There's a water bottle here. There's a tennis ball here for some reason. There's lots of other bits. That is someone's chapstick. Lip balm they've left in there. There's an earplug. This is literally 5 minutes worth, and already the bucket is starting to fill up. Let's have a chat with James from the Harbour Authority. Hello, James.
Hi there.
So you know these waters very well. How big an issue is plastic and bits of rubbish getting into the waterways?
It's a constant battle here in the harbour. We do have a boat specifically designed for picking out litter, and the harbour staff come out as much as they can to try and keep the place looking shipshape and Bristol fashion, but it's a battle that we are struggling with to keep up with, and having something like the Polly Roger to give us a little bit of a hand is perfect. It's just what we want. And it's very similar to the project that we won with Clean Up Bristol Harbour. It's literally getting people out on the water, and they give us a hand pulling in as much rubbish as they can.
And I mentioned some of the items we've already picked up this morning, the bag and the tennis ball and the water bottle. What's the strangest thing you've seen in the harbour?
Well, it's all sorts of strange items that we pull out. For example, in January, we usually pull out a dozen or so Christmas trees.
People, no, you're not being silly. They dump their Christmas trees in the harbour.
We have at least a dozen or so Christmas trees, one of which we found still decorated. Still had the decorations on.
It's almost funny.
I know, it's unbelievable. But again, what we did was we bunched them all up, and they were all recycled. They were taken away and recycled by the local council. Yo bikes, an amazing amount of coconuts. Don't ask me why, but we find coconuts in the harbour all the time. Quite a bit of fruit, melons we'll find, pumpkins at Halloween get chucked in the harbour, all sorts of things. But the bulk of it is single-use plastic bottles and single-use paper cups, and the burger wrappers. We get lots of the polystyrene burger boxes is the bulk of what we find.
That is unbelievable. Well, let's have a chat with Emma from Bristol Waste, because obviously Bristol Waste do a lot of their own work to try and reduce the amount of pollutants that end up in our waterways. But I'm guessing, Emma, for you, anything like this is just a bonus.
Absolutely. I mean, it's the lifeblood of what Bristol Waste is, trying to keep the city clean and green and a pleasure to enjoy. Litter's a huge problem in Bristol, like it is with most main cities. And we know it's something we can't do on our own. We'd love to have the crews to be able to pick up every piece of litter drop, but there's hundreds of tons of litter dropped every year. So coming out, standing shoulder to shoulder with these other amazing organisations, and hopefully inspiring a few people to come out themselves. And if they can't get on the boat, come and borrow a litter pick from us and just go and clean up your own bits of the city.
Yeah, and one of the organisations here is Sustainable Hive, and Jo is here from Sustainable Hive. Hi, Jo.
Hi.
So you're going to actually be taking a primary school out on the Polly Roger today.
Yeah, so they're arriving shortly, and we'll be taking Parsons Street Primary School out. It's their green team, so they're already trying to do something in school to improve the situation and make their school more green, and hopefully take those messages home. And this is trying to kickstart a new push for them, and a way to get their school more behind it. So all week we're taking primary and secondary school students out on the boat.
Well, I must say, it's a very nice day to be out on the Polly Roger. Having said that, in the last few seconds, we have just recovered, I think Emma from Bristol Waste has just picked out of the water what appears to be a piece of carpet that someone has dumped in the harbour. It's not quite a Christmas tree, as apparently gets dumped in January, but it just goes to show how much effort is still needed to make the harbour side plastic free. But the Polly Roger is now sailing around the harbour side, and she's lovely.
How many times can he say that name? Polly Roger, Polly Roger. It's like somebody off a Carry On film. Anyway, that's our reporter, James Hanson. You get it, don't you? Like polythene. Polystyrene. I guess it's why it's called that. I think so. Anyway, it's a boat made almost entirely out of reused plastic, and it carries litter pickers who are picking up any plastic or rubbish that ends up in the harbour side in Bristol. Just don't do it, will you? Don't dump your rubbish in the harbour side. It's not okay.